Hello, and it's Paul and Megan on the road. Sounds like a song. And today we're going over the bridge.
Yes.
We're off to Dunfermline. We're going to go meet Michael Maloco, our partner at Maloco, Mowat Parker, and Elaine Kyle from Morgan's. Going to have a chat about the Dunfermline property market, what it's like to live in Dunfermline, and we're looking forward to that bit.
Yes, we are. We are currently just heading north from Edinburgh, and we're really looking forward because Dunfermline is normally a hotspot whenever we look at the ESPC data. So yeah, we're excited to hear more.
Yeah, it's as you say, first time buying hotspots.
Yeah.
We've had one of the areas where we've seen a significant amount of listings in the last sort of house price report, and yet it still seems to be holding up in terms of sales and everything else. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to find out what's going on. And then
we are heading to Dhoom restaurant to speak to their owner to speak about what it's like to have a business in Dunfermline. So we'll get a bit of all sides of the coin in Dunfermline today.
We get lunch.
This
is not a paid for advert. We are going to pay for our lunch, but we might have a little snack.
Yeah, we'll see how hungry we are by then.
Indeed.
Worked up an appetite after chatting to Michael and Elaine. But yeah, so next time you'll hear from us, we'll be in Dunfermline.
In the park?
Yes, in Pittencrieff Park, I believe it is. Okay, so we have arrived in Pittencrieff Park, and I'm just getting set up for filming, and I'm going to be behind the camera for this section just because there's a bit of wind and we just want to keep everything monitored. So Paul's going to be chatting to Michael and Elaine, and I'll pass you over to them now.
Hi, it's Paul. As promised, we're here. We're here in Pittencrieff Park, which is known locally as the Glen, I'm told. We're on the hunt for peacocks. We've been promised some peacocks which roam around the park. We'll be having a look for those later. And I'm with Michael and Elaine, who are two of our solicitor estate agents, and I'll let them introduce themselves. So if I start with you, Elaine.
I'm Elaine Kyle. I'm Senior Valuer at Morgan's in Dunfermline in Eastport.
Welcome to the park. Michael.
I'm Michael Maloco. Senior partner at the recently rebranded Mowat Parker solicitors. I'm also a non-exec director at ESPC.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. And we know you both live locally because we've been chatting about that. So I thought, first of all, we'd just have a little chat about Dunfermline. And I thought I'd ask you, maybe for someone that's never been to Dunfermline, how would you describe Dunfermline? What's it like to live here?
Well, for Dunfermline, for me, I've worked in Dunfermline for over 30 years and worked here as well, socialised. Dunfermline's a bit of a hidden gem.
Yes.
It does sometimes feel it's got bigger over the last 20 years, but you can still walk down Dunfermline High Street and people are really friendly. They'll talk to you about what they've been up to. It's a city now,
yes,
but probably in my heart it's always a town.
Absolutely.
But it's become so diverse, which is good for the local economy, people moving into the area, and Dunfermline has grown so much with house builders and eastern expansion, so it brings a lot of diversity into the local area.
Good.
So but it's a great place to live.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Michael?
Yeah, well, I'll raise you by 30 years. born and bred Dunfermline, and that's over 60 years now. I've originally obviously lived above my parents' business in the high street, so I've really seen huge changes. And I really echo what Elaine says, that we are a city now, officially. But
when did you get the city status?
The Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Right, okay.
But really it is a town. I think it feels like a town,
sure.
and I think that's a good thing. Some people get really sort of worked up about no, we're a city, and I always think, well, actually there's benefits to being a town in many ways, because as Elaine says, you can walk down the street, and in our situation, we've been in business for so long and met so many clients, and you meet people you've acted for all the time, and there's always that connection, and it's a great place. It's easy 30 minutes by rail into the centre of Edinburgh, and you've got loads of countryside just around about you, just a short walk away.
Yeah, good I'd say great gateway to, and some nice hidden gems in terms of parks and also walks, you would say.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Pilgrims Walk, you've got fantastic cycle paths and cycle routes. I walk around Dunfermline and the surrounding areas, and everything's accessible within 2 or 3 miles. So the Glen itself obviously is something that not a lot of people know about. Pittencrieff Park, you've got Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie's birthplace. You've got a lot of points of interest, Abbey House and Palace
Some
grounds.
beautiful buildings as well.
Beautiful buildings. Medieval buildings as well, which
yeah.
a few hidden places that people want to discover and
Have you sold any
explore.
of those?
Not recently.
Should ask that. What's that? The oldest property you've ever sold? We'll come to that.
And also recently, in recent years, I don't know how many years now, but when the Alhambra Theatre opened back up again, it's been a great boon to the town because it brings in lots of great acts, especially comedy acts. I mean, Jimmy Carr's and people at the very top of their game, A-listers. We get a lot of that, and between the Alhambra and the original Carnegie Hall, not the one in New York, the one here in Dunfermline. You've got a good thriving arts sector too.
Yeah, lots going on.
Yeah, lots going on.
Well, we talked about lots going on. Shall we talk about the property market?
Absolutely.
And what's happening in the property market. So, how would you describe the sort of the market right now? We're here mid-August, sort of summer market. How are things?
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
Nothing like they were this time last year.
Understandable.
That was unsustainable.
Yeah.
So that froth has gone off. The summer months, kids went back to school just yesterday here in Dunfermline, but the summer months, summer holidays are always a little bit quieter anyway. We'll start to get a better picture, I think, in the next couple of weeks, wouldn't you, Gailey?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, but
I would reiterate.
it's all right. Yes, it's not as busy as it was. Prices being achieved are no longer 10 and 15% over
Still a
home
premium.
report. Still a premium, couple of percent, 2-3%, and more in certain conditions. Primaris offer for one that Elaine was selling yesterday, it's we had to pay a good bit more after because it was sought after. So you still get ones like that, so in general, what I would say to anyone listening or watching this is, don't just listen to the doom mongers and the market. Yes, it's adjusted, but it has by no means crashed. I mean, there's no crash.
We haven't seen that recorrection.
Absolutely not.
As Mike says, it's since last year the interest rates, obviously in November, December, had slightly increased. Sort of a big concern for people across the board. Looking at the bigger picture and the media's attention on the cost of living and things going up, your utilities, day-to-day shopping, all these essential things. But the property markets, as Michael had said, it adjusts accordingly, and we adjust with it. And certainly wouldn't put anyone off putting a house on the market. We're still getting some closing dates, and particularly, some flats at the 1 and 2 bedroom flats, 2 and 3 bed, ex-council, ex-local authority properties in particular.
And how much would that sort of property command? 2 or 3 bedroom ex-council. What sort of price are we?
Well, the average kind of price in Dunfermline for a 2-3 bed ex-local authority, you could be anything from sort of 125,000 up to probably 160.
Yeah.
Those kind of parameters, and people have done a lot to their properties, maybe extended, or so it's very affordable. Yeah. Dunfermline's a cost-effective place to live.
Well, there you go. That's another plug. But as you say, when you consider, I mean, Megan and I talk a lot about the Edinburgh prices on the podcast, and you think about what you can buy there versus what you can come to.
That's right.
To somewhere like Dunfermline.
Commuting-wise for Edinburgh and commuters, I know there's a lot of hybrid working, and that's where the sort of 4-bed and 5-bed market's actually been doing pretty well, because you've got families, with older children living at home still and working, and that. So there's been movement there. It's not all doom and gloom as Michael. I'd reiterate what Michael said. It's not all.
It's refreshing,
doom and gloom.
isn't it? Yeah.
As long as people are realistic in pricing, people have got to realise, and obviously it's our job to educate them that way, is that there's a sale to be had as long as you're realistic. listen to your agent. The chances are you're not going to get 10% plus over. But people who can manage expectations, there are deals to be done, and people can move on with their lives. You know.
And indeed, and as you say though, Michael, the chances are you're not going to have to pay an extra 10% on the one that you're buying. So it's
all
the
relative.
swings and the roundabouts.
Yeah,
There's very swings and roundabouts in the park.
There is. Very good children's park down
We
the
might do
bottom
that
end.
a little bit again on the swings and the roundabouts then. So, I mean, certainly we've seen more listings. Are we seeing a slight trend towards more fixed prices? Or are you tending to?
Yes, where a property's been on the market, again, Dunfermline has got your west Fife villages. It's all within a sort of 5-6 mile radius. And some villages to the west of Fife are commanding still a bit more of a premium. Your coastal areas, Charleston and Elaine Kyle and places like that. But as far as the market in general, where fixed prices comes into play when perhaps, depending on people's circumstances as well, they might be keen to move on, as Michael says, get on with their lives. And if the property's been on the market 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, it's not a long time, but if they see something they like and they want to move on it, we're the first to say, let's do a fixed price. And maybe just tweak it below the home report if needed, or home report value thereabouts.
Which offers great value. If you're a first-time buyer and you can then proceed.
You know exactly what you're paying.
Do you not find, Elaine, I'm still surprised after almost 40 years doing this, that how just switching something to a fixed price can almost overnight make a real difference.
It can.
You think it's such a simplistic thing,
and we've been
it
in
just
the market.
works.
Absolutely.
You're not shooting.
But it also surprises me that the people who then immediately are on the phone, it's a fixed price, didn't even look at it when it was offered.
That's right.
No, they have mentally just discounted it because, oh no, that'll go for 10% plus. I can't afford it. I'm not going to get my hopes up, so I'm not going to look at it. But suddenly, so it's a good tool to have in the armoury.
And prior to COVID and post that, offers in the region of was very much the pricing, and people did like that. If they really liked a property, well, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay. They'll give you over the asking. But offers in the region of then made it that you could maybe offer a wee bit less and still get it.
Yeah, which you can with a fixed price as well, of course, can't you? You can chance your hand, can't you? Okay, so we've mentioned, I came up in the conversation of Eastern expansion. Just explain maybe to the audience what that is, where that is, and how the market is there.
So, to get show my age, when I was up,
it was all fields.
When I was a lad, it was all fields. Totally true. When I was a lad, it was all fields. It was all farmland. And I believe that when it started in the 90s,
well, it was 90s.
90s.
Builders coming in to Dunfermline.
It was the largest tranche of private house building in the UK. At that point. And here we are, probably a quarter of a century on, 25 years on, and they're just coming to the end of it now. There's not very much left.
There's not much left.
There's not much left.
I don't think there is.
And it has increased Dunfermline's population by well over 10%. So it has a variety of almost every.
So a real mix from flats to
and every new builder that you could think of has had a piece of the action there.
With that has brought obviously new schooling, recreational facilities, leisure facilities, sporting.
Which is good. It's not just a huge estate, nothing there.
It's over the years. It's
and
come
it's great
on
commuter belt because you're just out onto the motorway for Edinburgh. It has to be said that from a Dunfermline point of view, as we sit here in Dunfermline in the Glen and we talk about Dunfermline Town Centre. Dunfermline Town Centre is in fact really at the western extremity of the town, and for some people, especially out with rush hour, you can get into the centre of Edinburgh almost as quickly as you can get into the centre of Dunfermline from the eastern expansion.
Well, both are still well worth a visit.
Absolutely.
But it's certainly brought I think, even like Carnegie College, which is going to now be sort of new campus for two big high schools in Dunfermline as well as the college amalgamated, and that's going to have that kind of American campus feel. And that's going to be something out in the eastern expansion. So it'll still draw families to buy, your 4 and 5 executive houses as well as the smaller properties.
It's a town within the city, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
really,
probably a good way to put it.
You've got all the leisure park is out there with the Odeon Cinema and all the restaurants and the crazy golf and all these things. So it's a good place for families to. We tend to find that there is some people are not Eastern Expansion people.
No,
you know,
no,
they want to be more
If
in the
you don't want a
traditional areas of the town.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, but the KY11 8 postcode, which is the Eastern Expansion, is and has been for 20 years plus the most popular sought after postcode in the area, and in the land register every year the records will show there's more sales there in KY11 8 than anywhere else.
Okay, no, interesting. If we think about first-time buyers then, where are the areas now and what sort of prices could you see for a first-time buyer? You know, what's it going to take to get a first-time buyer on the ladder around here?
First-time buyers have obviously come back into the forefront because, you know, they've been living longer
It's
at
all these
home and
fixed prices.
things, you know. And as we said, you know, we probably have bought and sold a few times, so we know what it's like to buy for the first time, which is fairly daunting. And yes, they still need that wee bit money and a wee bit help, unless they're perhaps a couple that are buying first time.
Back to
then
mum and dad.
yes, and grandparents as well and things.
Yeah.
But the first time buyers market, you can buy in Dunfermline, you could buy a nice one bed apartment flat, something more traditional, I would say, anything upwards of 75,000.
Okay.
You know, so you can get on the ladder.
Area-wise,
more town centre, I would say.
Victoria Street,
Yeah,
Victoria
your
Terrace,
period
Rose
house.
Street, these places which were, you know, places that we were looking when we first bought, you know, back my wife and I when we were first buying, and they're very sought after areas, and they're just a short walk into town.
That's right. Where if you're socialising, always stand by Dunfermline's social scene, where
you've had a cocktail or two.
A cocktail or two. There's some.
It's a short
great
stagger home
bars,
for you, Elaine.
Great bars, short stagger home. And it's cost effective. It can be a cheap night out in Dunfermline.
No, it's,
so
especially if you've got no
first time
taxi
buyers,
fare.
that's right.
No,
absolutely,
good,
absolutely.
Good,
you can walk home or stagger home.
So you've heard it first, guys. That's definitely a location that you would
The
consider.
first time buyers, I mean, yes, they're challenged with the hike in the interest rates, perhaps.
Of course,
but they'll not have experienced the low interest rates that we've had in the last decade. So they've probably already budgeted for that slightly higher mortgage.
As an aside to that is, of course, why rents are rising so much, because some first-time buyers that can't get on the mortgage, they've got no choice but to go for rental, and the rental stock hasn't particularly expanded because of various government policies and stuff, and so therefore the supply and demand is out. So you have greater demand than there is supply, and rents are being pushed up. So those, absolutely, because sometimes still buying will be cheaper than renting if you can get the deposit together.
Michael will be the same. That we've seen an increase in the flats, actually, 1 and 2 bedroom flats, and sometimes 3 bedroom, more traditional properties than we have in the last 12 months. So they're coming back on the market, and as I reiterate what Michael said, landlords are selling these smaller properties that they've had. So it gives people a chance again to get on the market at the lower end.
That's the point, isn't it? It gives first-time buyers an opportunity, and it gives them a chance, whereas in the past the buy-to-let market was superheated and everything was getting snapped up, and we've moved away from that.
And they're part of the lifeblood of the market. You don't get the people at the bottom.
Right.
And as long as, we talked about it, you know, off camera, as long as employment is there and employment figures are good, then, you know, people can get onto the market. Might be a little bit more of a struggle. No one's saying it's easy, but you can get onto the market. You know, again, you know, looking back over many years, you know, when unemployment is really high, if you haven't got a job, you ain't getting a mortgage, and that's what causes the market to just hit the buffers, and that's just not good. It's not happened, and it's just not going to happen as far as I can see.
No, I'd agree. We were doing a piece just the other day, and we were looking at the difference between the sort of 208 crash and now, and you know, we've not seen the level of repossessions. There's no credit crunch. You still get 100% mortgage as a first-time buyer if you're in rented. So it's a very different marketplace. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. How about this one? What's your outlook for the rest of 2023?
Well,
Michael's passed that straight to you, Elaine.
That's absolutely fine. I think it's stabilising, and in a way it's not a bad thing. You know, we've been these high prices, and Dunfermline's not experienced that since probably before, you know, 2008, pre sort of banking crisis, where closing dates every week and things. So it's probably going to stabilise, I think. I don't think it's doom and gloom at all. I think Dunfermline will always have properties that are moving within Dunfermline town centre want to move and have bigger properties for the families, kids. There's all those reasons for moving. So I don't think we're going to be. I think it'll be a wee bit rocky to begin with the next 6 months, and I think then it'll stabilise a bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
And hopefully interest rates will keep down for everybody a wee bit.
And you feel you're pricing in where we are now when you see your valuation, you're sort of pricing in the market.
We're definitely, obviously sellers are looking to us as well as Michael's firm to give them guidance on that, and managing expectations is the biggest thing. Don't get me wrong, we want to get the best price always for someone.
But you want to ultimately want the client to
we don't want them being on the market for lengthy periods of time and hanging out. But that's just, we go through that in the markets.
Yeah,
we're adaptable.
The non-solicitor estate agents who overpromise, that's where the problems come. ESPC agents, we don't do that.
Try and keep it real.
I would argue you're closer to the market because you're offering every day, aren't you?
Totally.
On the other
side, on the other side of things.
You know what's being accepted. You know what properties are going for. You're not relying on data 3 months out of date in the registers of Scotland.
Yeah, I would just agree with Elaine. Elaine knows the market fantastically. It's I think it will be steady as she goes. As I say, the schools went back here yesterday. I think that once you get into September, that feels like autumn. And really, if you want to be in somewhere before Christmas, you've really got to start your journey now. Time you get ready, see a few agents, make your choice, get to the market, have it on the market. A 10-week date of entry rolls round. From the date of offer, you're kind of there. And I think in the next few weeks we'll get a clearer picture. But I would expect volume just to pick up a little bit from where it's been the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks. And whilst there might be another Bank of England base rate rise, you've seen fixed rate mortgage deals come down. The lenders they've priced that in already, so they know what's coming. So I think that that kind of feel that the worst is behind us. Inflation is obviously now falling fairly steadily. I think it'll be, people will gain some confidence from that, and I would expect perhaps by May of next year interest rates to start, they will not come down as fast as they went up, but I think they'll maybe start to see percentage point drops.
Yeah, 14 consecutive rises at some point, that has to
and it's all relative, if you get a bit less for your property and expectations have maybe not been met, you won't have to pay it out at the other end.
That's it. Again, back to the swings and the roundabouts again.
Absolutely,
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think that's given us a real great insight into where we are and where we might be heading. If you had one piece of advice for anyone that's thinking of buying or selling, what would that advice be? Elaine, again, I'll start with you. Put you on the spot.
That is putting me on the spot, isn't it? What advice would I give? Well, absolutely. Early advice, no matter where you are, at what stage you are in life, speak to our companies like ourselves, who are ESPC member firms, and get the best advice. You'll get a full quote for costs, everything. Everything's transparent.
And there's no pressure, is there?
There's no pressure,
I
there's
guess
no obligation.
You see people today that you saw a year ago that haven't done anything, but ultimately now decide to sell, because there can be a long period.
That's right. I mean, I go to people, out every day doing valuations, and some people might think every day, yes, every day we're doing valuations, and I might have somebody that's been from 2 years ago or a year ago saying, yep, that's me ready now, I've thought about it long and hard. Obviously, at the moment, you have a lot of people at the higher end of the market downsizing, which is nice. That we've dealt with them for years and years and seen them through the process. And then, Michael's going to be the same, which is nice. And
it's when they're ready, isn't it?
It's when they're ready. But best advice, if you're getting a few quotes, obviously keep it within the ESPC member firms, and we'll give you all the best advice we possibly can.
Yeah, because you've got one-stop shop through the ESPC. That's it. You've got your conveyancing, everything done there, and whether in-house or just through the network, in our cases at Maloco, Mowat Parker, the connections you have with financial advisors, mortgage brokers, you can put people in touch, and get just so basically one point of contact, and you'll get a valuation of your property you're selling, quotation for all the fees, plus for your next purchase, plus can put you in touch with financial advisors, etc. So early advice from solicitor estate agent. You won't go wrong.
And don't be stressed, we'll look after you.
What a great place to leave it. Okay, Michael, Elaine, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
So that's us arrived in Dunfermline town centre?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just walking up a hill. We're just about to go to the restaurant for our chat.
Yeah.
And further up the hill, you've got the high street, Marks Sparks, and other stores are available.
Yeah, so yeah, we're just ready to go in and speak to the team that run Dhoom. So yeah, we're now back in Dhoom with Prasad, who is the owner of Dhoom, and we've just had a delicious lunch here.
I have to say that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. And so yeah, we just wanted to have a little chat with you just to learn a bit more about the business and why you're in Dunfermline and why you like being based in Dunfermline. And so yeah, Paul, I don't know if you want to kick us off.
I think we should ask about the name because I've just mispronounced it there. So Prasad.
Okay, so Dhoom is basically in Hindi we say celebration.
Right. Okay.
So many people ask me why you put Dhoom. I always say it's a good or bad.
Yeah.
So you'll remember it either good way or a bad way.
Yeah.
But it's easy, I think it's easy to remember to the people. So because this is very close to Scottish word,
Sure.
and they always keep in their mind.
Yeah.
So.
And you're not going to forget the food once you've been here. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely not. So we haven't actually said yet, but it's Indian cuisine, but you're not a curry house, are you?
So we are. This was my dream project when I came in this country around 2000. I worked for so many people. I opened 52 different restaurants in the worldwide.
Wow.
8 in this country for other people. And I mean, I changed them a lot the way they used to do, but when I thought in my mind one day I'm going to do a proper Indian street food or Indian food with how Indian people eat, how the Indian family prefer the food.
Yeah.
So that was the reason I kept
Here
it.
we are, and I have to say it's incredibly, I'm saying authentic, like I've ate many Indian dishes, but it really felt flavoursome. It was fantastic, as I say, really memorable. Everything tasted, you could taste lots of different flavours, and it was amazing.
Yes, and we were reading about you on the menu when it was talking about how you and the chefs go away to India 5 to 6 weeks a year. Do you want to talk
Yeah, I
about
go, I change my menu twice a year. So before that we'd done the region, now we are in the cities. So we just finished Delhi, and then we are in Calcutta. Next month we are in Mumbai. So this is I was trying to show the people, like if you go north to south, south to west, whatever they grow there, they cook with that. So they are not rich people, so they need to survive whatever they have.
Off the land,
And that's the difference. The same thing you'll call something in Delhi, but the cooking style will be different. The spice will be different. Whatever they grow, they survive with that.
Yeah.
And it's very basic. It's Indian people think it's rich and thick. It's not. It's really light food, and that's the healthiest food in the world.
Yeah.
Because we got most of the tandoor. That's our curries, ginger, garlic, cinnamon. Most of the thing is related to your body.
Yeah.
So our food is related with the Ayurveda.
Yeah.
How you eat, how you drink, everything related with that.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that was tremendous. And you opened here in 2018?
2018 of November we opened the door.
Okay.
Then we have hit and miss time. People still, I mean, I used to have a full restaurant and after half an hour, 50% away.
Oh, really?
Because no tikka masala, no korma, no butter chicken. So it took a while to make people understand we are not a curry house. Yeah. And finally, we've gone.
The pennies dropped now, hasn't it?
So nobody asked me the menu anymore.
Yeah.
They want to be a see how is Mumbai, how is Chennai, how is Calcutta, how is Delhi. So people just wait. 6th of September we are launching next menu. We're nearly done on that day.
Sure.
We got 2 sittings, both sittings blocked.
Plus the locations.
Absolutely. So you have been based in the UK for 20 years, is that what you were saying?
23 years now.
23. And so what made you decide, when you spoke to us earlier about how this was your dream project to open your own restaurant, what made you decide to settle here in Dunfermline?
Yeah, I worked for other company. In 2008 I opened for them in Dunfermline. And I've seen the people in Dunfermline quite open-minded. So mostly work in Edinburgh or they work in the bigger cities. So I think they were happy that time when I opened. I never opened a normal curry house. I just done a bit more Indian style. So when I opened this one, so I was knowing that people are quite happy to try something new thing. And they don't. If food is nice, they will definitely go there. And the good thing, biggest thing is, now especially my regular, they're very supportive.
Yeah.
Very, very
Sense
supportive.
of community locally.
Yeah, it's become a
isn't it?
community. So it's good to be a part of community. I think they people given me quite a lot,
Yeah.
especially in my hard time.
You've given them something
No,
back here.
it's both the things, but
Yeah.
my regulars they just love, and they just anything I do, they just next day they are helping on the door. So our business is a people.
Yeah.
And as much you are a part of community, I think this give me a lesson because I've done everything now. My both children is grown up now. So if you involve with every day with the community, do something. We feeded nearly 300 people during the COVID times. Even I was closed, and plus around 200 people with the front of the working people, basically Tesco's and these things. So, but I think it's good to be a part of community.
Yeah. And you are a local resident. You can't quite see your house from here, but you're just across the way, aren't you?
Just literally a minute walk from me. Yeah. And that was again my dream. I got a plenty opportunity to buy a house, but I was looking something the way I want to be. We stayed in a 2-bedroom flat. My children was grown up 18, 17, but we stayed on that. We said one day we'll buy a proper house, and that's I think it's 1900 house. It's a Victorian house.
Yeah, lovely.
Quite a lot to do on that, but still working.
Yeah.
I just finished my driveway, but I think step by step, and that's my future plan. I think I'll make my cookery class there.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, well,
So-
you've got
sign us up.
students here.
Absolutely.
So
We've spoken about the community in Dunfermline, and so I guess if anyone is thinking about maybe moving to Dunfermline, and as a Dunfermline resident, would you have any advice for them or
I
tips?
think we become a city now. We are near city of the country,
Yeah.
but I think the still government need to focus to bring the people in the town center,
Yes.
because our town center is literally gone now.
Yeah.
So people had a bad time with the COVID, mentally, financially, health-wise, and our town center used to be one of the best town center. But now since I think high street, the culture is going away, people are more online things,
Yeah.
and people like to go on the sites now. So I think I already sent an email or spoken to the 5 council also. We need to do something to bring people.
Yeah.
It's not me only. I think everybody, if we become part of, and everybody help on that way. So this is one of the best town I've been.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been everywhere in UK. You've been to Dubai, you've been to Korea, I've been to Japan, been to Singapore. But this is one of the best town I've been, and that's why my family, when we moved up in 2008, my family said, please go wherever you want to go. We are happy here because school is amazing.
Yeah.
Local people used to see me, Pfeiffer is not nice. And that was the best people I met in my life.
Yeah.
Very nice. In the school, everybody want to talk to you in the street. When you go just past, everybody says hello at least.
Yes. Yeah. We've heard that a few times today, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we have. Yeah.
In fact, when we were walking to the car, there was a guy in front of us who must have stopped 2 or 3 times to talk to different people he knew, and he was just a guy walking down the road. So
Very lovely people.
Local neighbourhood.
Yeah. They want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, Edinburgh, I was until 2000, 2008, but you don't know who's your neighbors.
Yeah.
Nobody wants, everybody is more focused on the
between
business.
a big city
And that's why I think my family love that. My son is going to be a doctor next year, so that's from Dunfermline.
Sure.
So he done I mean, schooling is amazing.
Yeah.
Community is very, very nice people. Very nice people. Something happened, they just literally on the door to help you.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. That's really great.
That's really beautiful.
It's given me a more Indian culture because in India we just know everybody in the street. So I think we people are more cultural.
Yeah.
And this is Dunfermline or Scotland. Compared to Edinburgh, compared to London, or compared to Bradford, I was in Birmingham. I think this is one of the best town I've been.
I don't think we can say anything better than that.
No, I know. That is a glowing review. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time to chat. And thank you so much for giving us, honestly, one of the best lunches I've had. Maybe ever.
This is make me happy when every single day somebody will say they had a best meal. I mean, you see the smile on people spend the money everywhere.
Yeah.
But when you say smile on the people, faces, that's you.
Yeah.
And some people they want to open a bigger chain or something. I think I'm happy with the community.
Yeah.
Very happy.
No, great. What a great place to leave it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, yeah.
Thanks,
So yeah, that's us heading back down to the car where we head back to Edinburgh now, but we've had a pretty good day in Dunfermline.
Yeah, the weather's been fantastic. The food's been fantastic, but more importantly, the market seems to be doing rather well.
Yes.
Holding up very nicely.
Exactly.
But I think that was really informative. I've learned a lot from today, and we've got some tips about places to see, places to go. And yeah, I think certainly our hope is that maybe those that had discounted Dunfermline and hadn't really thought about it, have a look again, because certainly from what we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just wanted to mention as well that we were planning on paying for our lunch at Dhoom, but Prasad was so nice and kind that he gave us it on the house. So we just wanted to say thank you very much again to them.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're going to go to the Alhambra Theatre now and try and bunk in there for free as well. No, we're not.
Otherwise, that is the end of this episode about Dunfermline. You'll catch us again on the podcast next week. And in the meantime, please feel free to get in touch with us at marketing@espc.com. And I think that's it.
That's us. Thanks for tuning in again as ever, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.